Hi everyone, I'm Purnashri and this is Srinidhi. We are from MES Institute of Management, Rajaji Nagar, Bangalore. We are here to have a podcast with Dr. Ashwin Gowda, sir, IRS officer. We welcome you to the podcast, sir. On
Namaste.
behalf of MES Institute of Management, I thank you, sir, for this wonderful opportunity. And I also thank Dr. Sharada S. Ma'am, our principal, and our vice principal, Dr. Harini M.S. Ma'am, for this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Ashwin Gowda sir, he is a IRS officer currently serving as Additional Commissioner of Income Tax after completing successfully 3 years of his tenure as MD KSDC under the aegis of Department of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Livelihood, Government of Karnataka. He was a probationer and he had held several administrative and leadership positions, including Assistant Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax, Deputy Secretary to Chief Minister of Karnataka 2018-19, and Director KPTCL. And it is our honor, sir, to have you with the podcast. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure is mine.
ಸರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸರ್ ನನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಓದಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಕಾಮನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್.
See, for common people, income tax is tax on their income, as simple as that. So, as you all know, we have two types of taxes. One is direct and the other one is indirect taxes. So, direct taxes are only for those people, whose income is above the tax slabs. And indirect taxes are, again, for everyone. Suppose even if if we pay, if we purchase matchsticks, again, we will have to pay tax on that. So, that's called indirect tax and everybody will have to pay. Whereas income tax is tax on their income, and only those people whose income is above the tax slabs, so they will have to pay the income tax. That's it. Simple as that.
ಸರ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಯು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಾನು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇವಾಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅಪ್ ಟು 12,75,000 ತನಕ ಇದಿದೆ, ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಆನ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಸರ್?
Okay, so if you ask my opinion, it's the most welcome move by Government of India. That's mainly because, see, when you have 12 lakhs, which approximately comes to 1 lakh per month, so this 12,75,000 is basically for the salaried employees. So if you have, when there is no tax for people, who is earning almost 12.75 lakhs, then obviously they will be left with more amount for incurring expenditure. So that will again boost. See, when I have money, then I will buy more and more products. So that will in turn boost the demand for other products, and when there is more demand, again more investment, more production, more employment. So ultimately it helps in creation of employment, and ultimately it helps in creation of more GDP for the country. So it contributes to the economic growth of the country also. So hence in that way, I feel that this is actually the bold step taken by Government of India to allow the people to have more disposable income in their hands, so that that would drive consumption in the country.
Sir, what is the major difference between old tax regime and new tax regime?
See, the major difference is with respect to the claim of deductions. The Government of India in its Finance Act 2021 has come up with this two kinds of tax regimes. Earlier it was only one tax regime for everybody. But in 2021, the Government of India introduced a new tax regime and the old tax regime. In old tax regime, as per the existing Finance Act 2025, the basic exemption is up to 5 lakh after considering the rebate, and then from 5 to 10 lakh it is 20%, and after about 10 lakhs it is around 30%. Whereas in the old tax regime you can claim deductions like ATC, ATG, ATD, medical insurance, all this. Whereas in the case of new tax regime, these deductions cannot be claimed. Okay. However, the exemption has been increased from 7 lakhs to 12 lakh rupees. So those who are having income up to 12 lakh rupees will not have to pay any tax. Further, the government also has given rebate of 25,000. So those who are having, effectively that means those who are having income of, let's say, 12.75 lakhs will not have to pay a single rupee of tax to the government. Suppose if it crosses, however, they cannot claim any deduction also. Suppose if it crosses more than 12.75%, then they will have to pay taxes as per the slab rates starting from 4 lakh onwards. Let's say 4 to 8 lakh it is 5%, and 8 to 12 lakh it is around 10%, and then afterwards it is 20% like that. So they will have to calculate the tax from 4 lakh onwards, and then they will have to pay for it.
ಸರ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ 80Cಗೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ 12 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ವರೆಗೂ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್, ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರ್?
ಬೇರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ 2025 ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ 2025 ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ 2 ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ಸ್. ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್. ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ is up to 5 lakh rupees after considering the rebate. Then the tax will be calculated at 10%, 20% and 30%. That is in the old tax regime. Whereas in old tax regime, you can claim deductions like 80C, 80CCD, 80G, all this, 80D, all this you can claim. Whereas in case of new tax regime, the basic exemption itself will start from 12 lakh. 12 ಲಕ್ಷದ ತನಕ ನೀವೇನು ₹1 ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆಯೂ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆವಾಗ ನೀವು 4 ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಂದ ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು 4 lakh to 8 lakh, 8 to 12 lakh ಏನು ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರಹದ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಾನು 80C ಅಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಲೈಫ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇವಾಗ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ HRA ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌಸ್ ರೆಂಟ್ ಅಲೋವೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸು ಕೊಡೋಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಟು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್, ಕೇಸ್ ಟು ಕೇಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಅವರು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಲಿ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದೇನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಂದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಮೇ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 1 lakh per month, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಮ್.
ಸರ್, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಯು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಡ್, ಇವಾಗ 12,75,000 ತನಕ ನಮಗೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು 20 lakhs ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪೇ. ಬಟ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ಸಿಂದನೋ ಏನಾರು ಆಗಿ 13 lakhs ನಾನು ಏನಾರು ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪೇ 75,000 ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫೈ ಇದು ಸರ್?
No, this is actually sort of a policy decision taken by Government of India. So the main aim of the government is basically to allow greater exemption as far as possible. So that is the reason that 12 lakh exemption has been given by government. And that's quite huge, because if you look at many of us, so many of our salary is less than 1 lakh rupees. So it is, let's say, so even if it is up to assuming that anybody is having 1 lakh rupee, then the exemption will be available. ಸೊ ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೂ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ 12 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೀರಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರು ಅವಾಗ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಲೇಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ವಿಚ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ನೋ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಅವರು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗೋದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. So on the same lines, if I'm earning, let's say, more than anything which is beyond the tax exemption limit, then accordingly I will have to pay taxes. So the policy made by government is as per the progressive taxation system only, and that I think it's a reasonable exemption that has been given by government to all of us, and I find no fault in it.
Sir, but most of the people confusion ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇಫ್ ನಾನು 13 lakhs ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಬರೀ -1 lakh ಬರೀ 1 lakh ಮಾತ್ರ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲ,
ಅವಾಗ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಗಳ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್
ಹೌದು. ಅವಾಗ
ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಸರ್?
ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇವಾಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅಪ್ ಟು 4 lakh rupeesಗೆ ಝೀರೋ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಸ್. 4 to 8 lakhs ಬಂತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ 5% ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ? 4 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 5% ಅಂತಂದರೆ 20,000 ಕಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ 8 ರಿಂದ 12 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 10% ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು? 4 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 10% ಅಂದರೆ 40,000. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಅಪ್ ಟು 12 lakhs ನಂದೇನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 60,000 ನಾನು ಪೇ 60,000 ನಂದು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿಡ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ 75,000 ನನಗೆ ರಿಬೇಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ನಂದೇನಾದರೂ 13 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಥವಾ 12.25 ಲಕ್ಷದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆವಾಗ ನಾನು ನನಗೇನು ಈ 60,000 ನನಗೇನು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಂದು 4 ಲ್ಯಾಕಿಂದ ನಾನು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಸ್. ಆವಾಗ 4 to 8 lakhs, 20,000 and 8 lakhs to 12 lakhs, that is 40,000. So up to 60,000 I will have to pay back to the government. So that exemption will not be available for me. However, the rebate of 75,000 is still available for me.
ಸರ್, ಈ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇವಾಗ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್? ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಹೌ, ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಹೌ?
ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ದು ಇದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್, ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಪೇ ಮೋರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೌ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಸ್. ಸೊ ನನಗೂ ಕೂಡ 12 ಲಕ್ಷದ್ದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಸೊ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಲೆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 12 lakh ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕೇ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದರಿಂದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Sir, as you know about Viksit Bharat 2047, so how is the current geopolitical situation affect the Viksit Bharat?
It would affect in different ways. See, mainly if you look at India is still a developing country, as you all know. So we are in the process of becoming a developed nation in terms of economic, social, political, geographical, cultural, in all sorts. So as a result, and as you all know that India is not an independent country actually as such, because no other country for that matter is an independent country, we can call it, because the globe has become a village now. Every other country is interconnected, interdependent, and mutually dependent on other country for so many factors. So in such a scenario, any issue that happens in anywhere in the world will have a direct and indirect impact on India as well. So India is not, has not developed a shield not to prevent itself from getting affected from the happenings around the world, right? So since every country is connected, India is also interconnected, and anywhere, any tension in any part of the world will have a direct and indirect bearing on India also. So in this way, India's aspirations of Viksit Bharat will get affected by the geopolitical situations as well. As you all know, earlier only 2 countries were hostile to India. That was mainly, it was China and Pakistan. But now China, with its policy like a string of pearls, it's increasing its influence in the neighboring countries of India. Okay, it is establishing its military bases against, in the neighboring countries of India. So this will have a direct security challenge to the Indian, to India as a whole. And then the political turmoils and the political instabilities in countries like Myanmar, Bangladesh, Nepal for that matter of late. So will have a direct bearing on Indian economy too, because there would be a lot of infiltrations, and when there is too many infiltrations, there would be a threat to the internal security of the country, and also there would be pressure on the resources, because government has got limited resources to promote welfare schemes amongst the poorest, amongst the poor citizens of this country. So if these people are also coming into the picture, then the resources will have to be given to them also. So there will be a strain on the government's ability to provide welfareistic resources and measures to promote the welfare of the poor people. Okay, so in this way, the political instability would pose a challenge, and the economic challenges in terms of tariffs, as you are aware that the tariff war is currently happening. So this would also pose a threat, okay, to the country, and also the political instability within the state, in different states, again would impact the foreign direct investments to the country. So all these things would pose direct challenges to the country's aspirations of becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047. So the government is also taking right direction, the right efforts in right directions to promote the interests of the country at the global level. So this can be seen in terms of reciprocating the tariffs, Like suppose if we are getting the tariff benefit, we are also like providing the tariff benefits through MFN clause, that is most favored nation clause. And similarly, that is in terms of that we are increasing our economic relationship with other countries. Okay, in terms of tariffs, in terms of giving incentives, in terms of curtailing the duties and all. Okay, wherever there is a support for us. Similarly, the government is also increasing its assistance to the neighboring countries so that this would actually prevent the increased Chinese influence in these neighboring countries. So the neighboring countries won't turn hostile to us. Okay, so be it like in Afghanistan, actually India spent a lot of money in construction of their parliament, in construction of their basic infrastructure. Even when Sri Lanka very recently, like some 2 years back, when it was in a deep economic crisis, government did support economically, and it also supported in terms of kind, in terms of providing the rice and other groceries. And Mauritius and Maldives, whenever there is any turmoil, again India is sending its military troops also, and India is actually providing a lot of economic support to these small countries. Okay, so and now with respect to the Bangladesh, again which is helping the Bangladeshi interim government to come up with elections at the earliest, and also helping in the political transition of the country. So if you look at in that way, government is taking all the measures in promoting the interest of the country. So we are only hopeful that the measures taken by the current current government would go a long way in promoting the interest of this country, and it would. I'm pretty hopeful that it would definitely help in achieving India a Viksit Bharat by 2047.
ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಬಂದು 140 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್ 143 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ 7 ಕ್ರೋರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೇ ಫಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಜನ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪೇ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಸ್ ಸರ್. ಡಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿ ಸರ್?
Actually, we can slightly modify this question, because we cannot say that the rest of the people, let's say, are not
They will pay
paying
indirect tax.
They will be paying indirect
Indirect
taxes also. So in that way, every other individual is paying taxes. Either it may be direct tax or indirect tax. Okay, but the percentage of people who are paying direct taxes is much less. That is mainly because India's working population, out of 100% of working population, almost 50% of half of India's working population is in the farming sector, is in the agricultural sector, and agriculture income as such is exempted from income tax. So that is the main reason for majority of Indians not coming under the direct tax bracket. But the government has taken a lot of initiatives to expand the tax base, and accordingly earlier it was only 2%, and now it has been increased. So of late, because of the government efforts, and because of more and more people coming into the organized sector, and also more and more people coming into the service, instead of primary sector like agriculture, more and more people are working in the percentage of working population in the secondary and tertiary sector like manufacturing and the service sector is also increasing. So this would definitely help in widening the tax base and bringing more people to the tax net. So government is taking all the efforts in this regard.
So moving forward, since you are working in the Department of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Livelihood, would you like to give any message to the young entrepreneurs?
Oh, definitely. That's my favorite topic, entrepreneurship. See, entrepreneurship basically lies in the ability of an individual to take risk. Okay, so that is the crucial thing that differentiates an entrepreneur from a worker. Okay, so the ability to take risk. So I want all our people to focus, to develop this habit or the ability of taking risks in their life, early in their life, so that even if something goes wrong, they can withstand and can come back again. So I suggest everyone to try their luck in entrepreneurship. Identify, choose the area where you are interested, choose the domain where you have some passion, where you can put in some efforts, and focus on that. Definitely the results will be there for you. Okay, so if you choose a particular path and analyze, understand the ABCD of that domain, and then marshal all the resources that are required for it to the extent possible, and then put a deep, the focused efforts, I'm pretty sure that any individual for that matter would achieve desired results in their chosen area. Okay, so I suggest everyone, it is always better to no, it's common for every other youth to become a worker or to become a job aspirant and the job join one or the other company to get their livelihood. But very few people actually get into this entrepreneurship. Okay, so I suggest that number should increase. So everybody will be having an area of interest in one way or the other. So they will have to choose that area, marshal the resources, put all their efforts, and then I'm pretty sure that they can achieve something in their life. And once they become entrepreneurs, again, it results in providing employment to a large sections of people. So it is also a sort of social service. If you ask me, social service is not about serving the people. By being an entrepreneur, also we can serve the society in terms of generating employment, in terms of contributing to the economic growth of the country. So I request all of you to try your luck at least once in the entrepreneurship.
Sir, but at last the government should also support the entrepreneurs, sir. ಎಷ್ಟು
Yeah, true.
ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು
Actually, if you look at government, both government of India and government of state, that is Karnataka government, have come up with a lot of initiatives like Stand Up India, Startup India, Mudra loans, and also if you look at the state government, every other there are multiple community-based organizations. Okay, like Maratha Development Corporation, Lingayat Development Corporation, Akaliga Development Corporation, SCST Development Corporation, and all, and they are all providing loans. Up to let's say 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, based on the ability of the individuals and based on their project also. And there is another program called PM Vishwakarma, wherein the government is actually providing training and also providing loans up to 2 lakh rupees, okay, to start their own entrepreneurial venture. So the government schemes are there, but the individual will have to put a little more extra efforts to get benefited from those schemes. But if they put the efforts, definitely they'll also get benefited from the same. And apart from this, the government is also giving incentives in terms of taxes, okay, for many entrepreneurs, for many startups. So the startups can make use of all this you know all this benefits, facilities given by government of India and government of Karnataka.
ಸೊ ಫೈನಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಥವಾ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೆಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಇರಬಾರ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ
ನನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ನನಗನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ನಮ್ಮದು ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ, ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮೋರ್, ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸೇವ್ ಮೋರ್ ಅದರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ PFನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾಳೆ ದಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಬದುಕಿಗೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ. ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬಾರಿ ಹೌಸ್ ರೆಂಟ್ ಅಲೋವೆನ್ಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮನೆ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಅಲೋವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನ್ಯೂ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಜಿಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನ್ಯೂ ರೆಜಿಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ಗೂ ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ, ನ್ಯೂ ರೆಜಿಮ್ಗೂ ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಜಿಮ್ ಕಪಲ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ allowance of deductions would definitely go a long way, in helping people and claiming more, what do you call, in saving more taxes and utilizing the same for disposing their, in claiming, in saving more taxes, and also this would result in more disposable income for them, so that would drive their consumption. Again, in turn, which is all cyclical in nature. So if there is more consumption, then again more demand for production. If there is more consumption, more demand for products. More demand for products means more production. More production means more employment, more investments. So that would again contribute for the economic growth of the country. So new tax regime coupled with more deductions would have allowed people to save more taxes and would have allowed people to have more disposable income. This would in turn would have contributed for more demand, more production, more employment, sort of.
Sir, as you told, entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship is your favorite topic. So we are conducting an event on 28th of March called Samskriti. Our main motto is entrepreneurship development and to develop our students of MES IOM as an entrepreneurs, where we give the products to the students and they'll prepare it from the scratch till sales. So for this event, we invite you as a chief guest on 29th of March. So it will be a pleasure for all of us if you be with us that day.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the invitation. As I told you at the beginning, the pleasure is always mine to be with you, to be with the young minds, and also to be with the entrepreneurial minds. So I will definitely come and be with you all. Thank you so much for the invitation.
And thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
It really means a lot.